All right. We're getting everybody in. While we do that, because it's always fun to ask this question, and Rob, because you look like you're in a very unique place, can you tell us about where
Story of
you're
my life. Story of my life. There we go.
where the heck are you? What is that in your background?
Well, a stove, a
Oh,
cupboard.
okay.
Uh, I am in the Colorado History Museum in Denver, Colorado.
All right.
And I'm in Denver to speak at a megastar sales conference. And uh, Bop down here. I like museums. What was it, a month or two ago? I think I went to the shrimp fishing China camp in the Bay Area. And
Yep.
anyway, we digress. We
We did
digress.
digress. But I was actually really surprised that that's a stove behind you. Maybe it's like the plastic cover or the glass cover thing that's throwing me off, but it looked like lab equipment from here based on like the labeling of the, oh yeah, now I see it. Now I see it. Okay, it looks like a stove now.
There you go.
It's
There
even
you
got
go.
some coal right beside it. They did such a good job.
That would have been what I used to cook coal.
Well, speaking of coal, it is really cold across most places in the country right now. In fact, Ryan says he's getting some snow, right?
Yeah, it's been a long, cold week in Little Rock, Arkansas. It's not weather we're used to for sure.
Well, maybe Rob can bring you some coal and you can warm up a little bit. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm going to go ahead and kick us off before we digress too much. Welcome everybody. I am Melissa Langdale. I'm the president and COO of the Mortgage Collaborative, joined as always by Rob Chrisman. And today's very special guest is Ryan Atkins, the EVP of Mortgage Production for First Horizon Bank. Ryan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
And you're in Little Rock,
Yeah.
I am. Yeah.
and it's snowing there.
It's not snowing today, but it was snowing earlier in the week, and it's kind of stuck around for the last few days. So we're just kind of thawing out.
Does everything shut down when it snows?
Yeah, we're just incapacitated when it snows, even the littlest bit. We're not prepared for it. The homes aren't built for it. It's just it's an unusual scenario for us.
Yeah. So the last time I was in Little Rock, Arkansas, was at an event, and a storm was coming in, and they warned everybody, hey, if you want to leave now, leave now. Of course, that was right when I was about to give my speech. So I think I spoke to about 8 people. But the roads, I've got on the road to go to the airport to fly out, and everybody's going, 1 mile an hour. And I was getting frustrated, but it didn't matter because when I got to the airport, because there was like a half an inch of snow, the airport was shut down. And this was on a Wednesday, and it remained shut down until Friday, maybe even Saturday. Anyway, so snow.
Yeah, we all just take a snow day, adults and kids alike, and we just kind of, take a break for a minute until it thaws out.
Yeah. Anyway,
All right. So
how are things at First Horizon?
They're good, 23 was a tough year, but we've gotten off to a good start. Applications are up. It's not translating to a lot of new locks yet. I think we're still pretty low on inventory across most of our major MSAs in our footprint, but yeah, it's promising. Dropping rates at the end of the year and some new applications. I think it's a better start to the year than I thought it was going to be in November, for sure.
And most everybody here, I think, has a good sense of who First Horizon is, but tell us a little bit about, the mortgage space at First Horizon. What do you think kind of makes y'all, we have an AI participant today, I just saw in our in our chat. So what makes you guys unique? What as you look at kind of 2024 going forward, what do you think kind of sets you guys apart?
Well, so for those of you who don't know First Horizon, we're a $80+ billion bank headquartered in Memphis, Tennessee. And our originating footprint, we originate all over the U.S., but our physical footprint is the 12 states in the southeastern U.S. And then we also have a bank and a mortgage office in Manhattan. As far as what makes us unique, I really think, operationally, we even, during peak volumes of 2021, 22, we really perform very well, at least from a pure benchmarking standpoint. We were always, well ahead from a turn time standpoint. We have a wide range of products, both portfolio and secondary products. So I think that's somewhat unique. A lot of banks have portfolio products, but not everyone. So those are some of the things that make us unique and really kind of set us apart.
Oh, you're muted, Rob.
All right, I'm back.
Okay.
So Melissa, can everybody on the call read what's in the chat box?
Yes.
You saw it flash up.
Yep. Yeah.
And I'm sitting here looking at this. So we have the old, Ryan, don't look at me when I say old, but I mean, like, they got the stove and all this. And we have the new, hi, I'm an AI assistant
Yeah.
helping Teresa Rose take notes for this meeting. What the heck?
It's
What the
actually
heck?
really amazing. If you've not used those platforms, and I've not used the one that she's using right now, but there are several out there that kind of consolidate notes for the meetings, actually put them in an organized fashion so that it's not necessarily just like a transcript, but it actually, organizes the thoughts behind the meeting for you too. So it actually is really cool.
Wow.
Yeah. Is anybody else I want to see in the chat, like who else has used those in the past? And if there's any other recommendations as we're chatting here today. Does it make dinner? No, Bill,
Does it make
not
dinner?
make dinner. That one you're on your own for. All right. Well,
We're gonna have to wait on Tesla's robot to fix that problem.
I want to talk about innovation a little bit since we're on this topic, and frankly, I just love to talk about innovation. Thinking about where the market's heading, what you guys have kind of done to prepare your sales team for more in 2024. We talk about this a lot. Are you seeing anything out there that's truly innovative from a solution perspective, whether that be kind of products related, technology related? What are some of the things that your LOs are asking for that they're seeing?
Sure. So this is probably not a very exciting answer, but since you mentioned product specifically and technology specifically, we always do regular evaluations of our products, our process, technology stack, and all of those things. And when we were at the end of 23, kind of looking forward to 24, what's there that we could take advantage of that would help us be more successful in 24? And as I mentioned, we have a wide range of secondary products, a wide range of portfolio products. I don't think that we didn't believe that adding a single product or a set of products was going to be, the game changer in 24. And same thing from a technology standpoint. I would think that probably most folks on the call are pretty comfortable with their tech stack. I mean, we're always looking for new options and new things to add. But as far as what was going to make us successful in 24, there didn't seem to be a magic bullet, right? So instead of looking to what we could add, we really kind of took the approach to do more of we challenged our team to do more of a 23 self-reflection, like an honest assessment of how did you spend your time in 23? Was it waiting? Was it worrying? Or was it working, right? Waiting on rates to come back, worrying about things you can't control, like low inventory, or were you out trying to strengthen old relationships, build new relationships, and kind of capture some market share during the downturn? So we really kind of asked them to. Some of the questions we asked were, what activities did you do in 23 that helped you acquire new business, right? Or what technology do we already have available that you're not fully taking advantage of? Sometimes when you need new clothes, you got to shop in your closet first, right? And so we really try to ask everybody to reevaluate, what do you know about our product set? What part of our product set are you not using? Who were your top COIs in 23 and why? Who were your top realtors that didn't send you any business in 23 and why? And really kind of take a look at all of those things and try to find what you can lean into rather than looking to some new product or some new technology to solve for that. So not really innovation in a sense, but that was our approach.
Well, you bring up a good point of understanding the data that's really, driving results, right? You're, number one, asking for everybody to make sure they're leveraging your existing, products and tools. Frankly, I think that is kind of like low hanging fruit for everybody. There's, oftentimes updates and new versions of software or technology that come out on a regular basis. And if you're not kind of keeping up with the updates along the way, you can lose an opportunity to really, either create efficiencies in your process or a better customer experience in some cases, depending on the platform. So, and then I like what you said about really understanding like where they were spending their time, where they were getting their most referrals from. Oftentimes that can get kind of lost in LOS platforms so understanding that data, I think can be critical. I've been a little bit distracted though by Rob because he went from this place of, you could see he was making friends with lots of kiddos behind him. And now he looks like he's in a closet. Where are you now?
Well, I am in a teepee.
Oh, I see. That is really cool.
Even has a buffalo rug.
That is very cool.
Anyway,
All
yeah,
right.
the old and the new. I mean, I'm in a teepee and you're talking about technology issues. That's
Yep. It is interesting. Interesting conversation based on where you're at for sure.
yes. So Ryan, it used to be that I'll interject here, but it used to be that vendor management was almost an afterthought. And now, the vendor management role is like a C-suite position because of all the vendors that companies are dealing with, and whether it's LOS or hedging companies or CRMs or credit reporting agencies, whatever it might be. Do you have a person who does just that, or is everybody kind of in charge of their own vendor relationships?
So we have point people within the line of business at First Horizon within the mortgage group that are owners of those relationships, but we do have a separate procurement area or vendor management area that maintains all of the contract work, all the compliance risk, any type of vendor risk really that manages that separately.
And how do you, like, if I were a vendor, let's say I was owned an AMC or a CRA or an LOS or some other acronym, some other abbreviation, what is the best way? I mean, there's a lot of turmoil now. What is a way into your organization? If I've got this whiz bang product, do I just hit you up at a conference? Do I start talking to your originators at the branch level? Do I go straight to the top? I mean, how does a new vendor gain access to First Horizon?
Sure. We're always open to new vendors and new opportunities to change our technology stack. So from where I sit, and I can only speak for me personally, I'm eager to hear from new vendors and new opportunities to change those things. So in our organization, it starts with me or with our director of secondary marketing or director of strategic initiatives, or someone in that top level of marketing. Mortgage management, our mortgage management structure. That's where you begin. just to be frank, it really kind of, nothing frustrates me more than, hitting up our LOs to have them, start chirping, right? So that tends to get under my skin a little bit, but so I would say bring it on. We're here to listen, and I'm open to hearing what anybody has to pitch.
Well, Brian, I've got a question. I think,
Yeah.
and it's a little bit, off topic from where Rob was just going, but, you're leading a very large sales team across the country. You're talking to loan officers all day. Are you start to look at, the industry as a whole and the more people that you're talking to, are there people trying to get in right now? Do you see, kind of, people stepping into mortgage as a career in the midst of, our
I don't see that much anymore. This is what we got from the tribal representatives. So yeah.
Right, Rob,
Does someone in the TP have a question? I think there might be some background noise coming.
there we go.
There you go. I think I caught most of your question. So I think it was about, do we see people, interested in getting into the mortgage business, right? Ironically, I have a meeting with a young guy on Monday who wants to do just that, right? Or wants to at least explore the opportunity. Obviously in a down cycle, I think you see more people getting out of the industry than you do eager to get into the industry. But this may be an opinion unique to me, but I think it's still a great opportunity. I've had a 20-year career in mortgage, didn't intend to be in mortgage, like probably a lot of folks when I got into the business. And I think that as long as you have the right attitude and the right aptitude, and you understand that what you're getting into is an annuitizing business, I think there is an opportunity to be successful. I think you have to have, there's two things you have to have. You have to have a mentor. You have to have somebody who's willing to teach you. I think training is probably a deficiency across our industry, especially, where I sit or the companies that I've worked for. Yeah. And I think that, well, with the exception of TMCU, we just put some folks through. So I'll put a plug for TMCU. I think that went really well, and excited to try more opportunities like that. But yeah, I think as long as you've got a good mentor and you've got somebody to hold you accountable, those are two key things that would be beneficial for somebody joining the industry.
Can I add a third?
Yeah.
That would be hunger, right? They got to have a drive. Yeah. And I think as long as you have those three things, you're golden. I think I see some newer to the industry mortgage professionals right now knocking it out of the park. For a couple of reasons. One is they're bringing energy and enthusiasm to what they're doing. They're always available to answer questions, like nothing that's rocket science to most people that are on this call, right? They're consistently answering their phones. They're they've got this kind of hunger and drive, and they're bringing energy with them along the way, and energy creates momentum. I know of a loan officer right now that is about 2.5 years into the business and closing about $75 million last year. So it is possible, but it requires a lot of drive and a lot of energy, and the attention to detail that can come from learning from somebody really great. So I love that. And
So
no,
Melissa,
I'm not their name. Y'all can't go recruiting them. Like I won't do that to them, but it's totally possible.
so do you view that person, once again, without revealing their name or their company, but do you view that person as they are going to stay with that company for years and years and years? Or do you see that kind of successful person hopping from one company to another?
At the end of the day, I don't think any of us can say that we will, very probably few people on this call have stayed at the same company for their entire career. I've seen it, but it is rare. I think there is something to be said, though, about investing in individuals and continuing to invest in them. I think Ryan and one of the things you just mentioned is, kind of looking at training platforms. Like you're very focused on kind of investing in your team consistently. And I think that goes a long ways to retaining really good originators and really good teammates as a whole.
Yeah, the approach we take is, I mean, we're obviously concerned about, the same thing you mentioned, Rob, but, if we help someone launch their career, or even if they're mid-career and they move to us, I want people on our team, I want salespeople on our team that are getting recruited all the time, because that means we have the right people, right? And as long as we're the, providing them with the tools that they need to be successful and in an environment where they can flourish, then, I don't have too much concern about them, leaving and taking a different opportunity.
Yeah. Always re-recruiting, right? That's
So,
part of it.
Ryan, we're talking about recruiting. The analytical capabilities for lenders right now are, they continue to improve. Have you ever had companies be interested in a branch or individual in your organization, and you start to slice and dice their production and say, go ahead, knock yourself out. You aren't really making us any money, so feel free to take that call from that recruiter.
Yeah, we do regular profitability evaluations across, from the region level to the market level to branch level, all the way down to the individual LO. And so, we tend to try to head those things off, right? So if you're not a profitable originator, we try to get you to a place where you are a profitable originator, rather than, waiting for that to happen. But yeah, I mean, we have to, it definitely weighs into our decision on whether or not we make an additional effort, to retain someone when they're being recruited, for sure.
I think there's also a pulse. I like what you said about making sure that you help them towards the path of being profitable. Sometimes they don't have awareness of what that really means or what it looks like, right? What they're driven by getting the deal. But there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes to drive really profitability in what they're doing. And if I look at what's coming in 2024, we've talked a lot about EPOs coming, potentially renegotiations that we're going to have to tackle with the team. As you look at those sort of things, how are you helping your sales team to understand how those things impact their world and First Horizon's role as a whole?
Yeah, so I get, and I don't say this, to pat myself on the back. It's probably more of a problem than a solution, but I'm, generally transparent to a fault sometimes about all of those things, where we're going from as a company, where our margin structure is. I mean, like it's, I think the more information you can give the team and shine more light on how we're operating as a company, the more they can relate to that on the individual level. We try to share practices across different regions. I mean, Miami, for instance, is wildly different than Fayetteville, Arkansas, right? Or, you could make 10,000 comparisons just in our 12 states, right? But there are things that they can leverage. And so the more opportunity you have to share among the group, I think that collaboration is great. We have regular focus groups with our top originators and take their feedback and try to implement that. That's also a platform for us to disseminate information through the rest of the group too. The rest of the originators look to those leaders to try to understand what's going on. So, I mean, those are just a few things that we do to try to help with that.
I think that's fantastic. All of those things. Oh, and I have to comment, Tim in the chat, we were talking about training and he says that it reminds him of the saying, what happens if we train them and they leave? Well, what happens if we don't train them and they stay?
No doubt.
Fantastic point, Tim.
Very true words.
That's a good one.
Absolutely.
How do you, Ryan, you're in 12 states now?
Yes, 12 states plus New York, but only in the Manhattan area.
So a lot of companies won't do business in New York, or they'll say, we're licensed in 49 states. We're not licensed in New York. And I'll say, why? Oh, it's too much of a hassle. There's, delinquency and foreclosure issues, the value of servicing, yada, yada, yada. But you're in New York. How's that working out? Why did you decide to go into New York, and how's that working out?
Well, I have to admit, it wasn't my decision. It was, we gained that market through an acquisition. There was a bank in South Florida that our bank acquired, and they had an office in Manhattan. But, the business that we've been able to gain out of New York has been extremely profitable over the years. Our single originator there has been one of the top originators in our company ever since we've made that acquisition. And really, it was more in support of the bank, is what I would answer, Rob, than really targeting New York as an opportunity for us.
And why do you have a lot of demand to go into states that you're not in now?
A little bit, but we are in a couple of states from a mortgage. We're in Missouri from a mortgage perspective, and Mississippi from a mortgage perspective, and we're not there from a bank perspective. So, we're always looking at opportunities, but again, it ties back to profitability. And really, the bank would prefer us to stay within our footprint. That's natural, I think. But if we see an opportunity that could be good for both parties, then we would absolutely explore it.
I want to pull on that just for a minute, because one of the strategies I've seen a couple of top LOs do is they're really expanding where they're licensed, right? They're kind of expanding their market just to, keep volume growing. Are you seeing that with your team as well, where they're starting to, reach out into new markets?
Yeah, we've got a few folks. I see it more cross footprint than I do really out of our physical footprint. But yeah, that same thing's true for originators in North Carolina doing tons of business in Texas, or Texas and Florida, or all over the place. It's kind of a, spider web now. And, I encourage it. I love it, and we do originate in all 48 contiguous states, but we don't market outside of our physical footprint. And so, it's hard for me to answer that. We don't allow them really to chase business outside the footprint. So, but within the footprint, it's free for all.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And are you retaining servicing?
We do. Yes, we have a fairly large servicing book, split about 50-50 between what we've originated, held for investment in the portfolio, versus what we just retained servicing rights on.
And do you have a team that works with your servicing portfolio? I've heard different names of those teams, portfolio, defense team. Do you have a group that markets and talks to your servicing portfolio?
Well, we have so our servicing portfolio. We have a sub-servicing governance team that deals with the interaction between our servicer and our servicing book. But the retention efforts and the things that you're talking about are really, they fall on us as a mortgage line of business. We have as far as the technology stuff we were talking about before, I think there's some things that are just table stakes for an originator. You have to have a good CRM so that they can stay on top of their own database, give us visibility into their database so that we can help them, market to those individuals, and really, you kind of have to have a good, well, you definitely have to have a good self-service marketing platform of some sort to be able to do that, which I think keeps us from having to have a separate team for retention. When we look at what we're able to retain out of that servicing portfolio, I think we fare pretty well compared to industry averages.
There have been some kids going by. I think they are going to look at the anatomically correct buffalo statue that's in the lobby. So, but if they start coming in, I'll have to move out of the teepee.
Okay. we'll stay on mortgage for a minute. We only have, probably time for one more question. I think, you talked a little bit about leveraging kind of your CRM platform. Some of the top originators across the country have really been fantastic database marketers, right? And the CRM platform goes into that, but as you're looking at kind of tools for your originators, do you have all of that kind of built for them so that it's easy? Are there, do you provide some resources to help them to kind of pull it together on their own?
Well, so we have, we do have a CRM, right? So we provide that to them. We have some different automated services that we use to help them market through social media or other platforms, that kind of, so they're not having to constantly maintain visibility with their client base or their, realtors, COIs. So we provide them, continuous content. I think that's the other thing. You got to be refreshing your content all the time to be able to stay relevant in that way. And so, yeah, we provide them. I think that, there's probably some that would say we could do more, but I think, we get the basics done for sure.
There's always opportunities for more.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's always a thing. All right, Rob, any last question for you? Nope. Okay. Well, we are right up at time. Ryan, I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us. For everybody that joined us here, if this has been valuable for you, make sure to subscribe to YouTube or our TMC Connect podcast channel. Would love to see you there. And if not, we will see you next week right here. Have a good weekend, everyone.
And if we didn't get to any of your questions, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'd be happy to answer them. So fill up my inbox. All right. Thanks, folks. See ya.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.